Hey, David Starr here with another episode of On Guitars. Today I want to talk about a guitar that's really, really special to me. It's one that I designed in conjunction with my good friends at Breedlove up in Bend, Oregon. And it's called the Rise Up Again edition. It's a limited run guitar. There are only 7 of them on the planet, and 3 of them are already spoken for. So by the time you see this, they may all be spoken for, but that doesn't mean we couldn't build you one. What I want to do today is talk a little bit about the origin of the design, why we decided to do this, why it's got this on the fretboard, and then talk a little bit about the specs and some of that sort of thing. I've had the pleasure to work with my friend John Oates on a couple of recording projects, and the most recent one was an album called Beauty and Ruin. During the recording of that album, I got suddenly very ill and had to have some surgery. While I was in the hospital for that, I had a very vivid dream that involved my father and grandfather, who are both deceased. Very vivid dream. I can remember it still if I close my eyes. And the essence of the dream was that even though I felt like I might be near death, I wasn't, and I was time to rise up again. So I began the song, John and I finished it together, and it wound up on the album. So that's the origin of that phrase. Fast forward to this last fall of 2020, and I spoke to my friends at Breedlove and said, I'd like to do a guitar to commemorate that song, because a lot of people came to me during that period of time when it came out and said that felt like an anthem to them. It felt like something that lifted them up somehow, and particularly in 2020. When we all needed lifting up. So they were up for it, and I went to them with my design ideas, and here's what we wound up with. I'll walk you through it. So let's start with the body shape. Breedlove has got a number of different body shapes, and probably my favorite, because it sort of reminds me of some vintage guitars I've got, is called the Concerto. That's this body shape. To some, it may look a bit like a small jumbo. The waist is a little broader than perhaps some of the jumbos you're used to seeing, but you know, a little over 5-inch depth. So it's a pretty good sized guitar, but it's very comfortable to play. The top is Sitka spruce, ebony bridge. One of the things you'll notice is there are no bridge pins. Breedlove is known for their string-through bridge. As somebody who changes a lot of guitar strings in a guitar store, I love this design because I've never lost one of their bridge pins. You know why? They don't have any bridge pins. It's very handy. Anyway, in fact, there's an item that comes in the case that I had to stare at for a minute until I figured out what it was. Looks like a piece of cardboard material, and it's cut to fit right here, and you lay it up here, and it keeps you from scratching the body when you're restringing. Little fun fact. All right, moving along. Got an abalone rosette, something fairly simple. Kind of a root, I'd call it a root beer sunburst. I asked them to do the ivoroid or plastic binding because it's just got a nice vintage look to it. And by the way, one of the things I wanted to do, Breedlove has a reputation for making beautiful guitars with a bit more of a contemporary voice and look than, say, some of the more established 100-year-old companies and so forth. And I like that, and I like the sound of that guitar and the feel of it. But I wanted to give a nod to sort of the vintage, the golden age and all that. So we used the plastic binding. The back and sides is where it really stands out. They sent me some photographs, high-res photographs of some maple wood sets, maybe 18, 20 sets, something like that. And I went through and picked the ones I liked. Now, I have to say, I'm a fool for a maple body on a guitar. And some of them were kind of bland, not a lot of flame to them, and I passed right by those. Does that mean these sound better than those would have? I don't know, but they look like this, and that's what mattered to me. So as it turns out, so far all of these guitars sound amazing. So we got flame maple back and sides with that same burst all the way around. A lot of guitars you'll see with a burst top and a maple back and sides won't have burst all the way around, but I thought it was important to do the whole thing. So we got it on the sides. The neck is also got the burst carried all the way up with their gold tuner with the Breedlove logo on it. ebony buttons. We carried the plastic binding all the way around the guitar and up the neck. And we've got a ebony overlay on the headstock. So what we wanted to do was, while Breedlove makes a fairly contemporary guitar in terms of looks and sound, which I like, we also wanted to give a nod to the golden age of guitars with kind of a vintage look and feel. Some of those details I left up to them, like the tuners. I said, pick the tuners that look good on it, and that's what they did. They've got a couple of different headstock designs. One is a little more modern, higher wave. This wave is just a little more subtle. So it's a little more classic look, and got a great feel. Ebony fretboard with the Rise Up Again song title in it. So one of the things I insisted that we do was put the right pickup in it. I've got a lot of guitars with LR Baggs Anthem pickups. I like them pretty much better than anything I've ever played. And in a year where I'm really busy touring, I'll tour 125, 150 nights a year. And invariably, sound guys come up and say, "What is in your guitar?" And in every case, it's a Baggs Anthem. So what's cool about each one of these guitars, it'd be hard to see this on the camera, but this one is number 1 of 7. So this one's staying with me. But each one of the guitars comes with a Breedlove guitar portrait that talks about when it was completed, serial number, talks about the playing style that was used to spec the thing out, you know, what the instrument's weight is, the fundamental frequency of the guitar, the back frequency, the back thickness, top frequency, top thickness. So they get really into the weeds about each guitar. So anyway, each one of these comes with that, and it gives each one a bit of authenticity and individuality. So really happy with the way they've turned out. 3 are spoken for, including this one, and 4 more to come. So right now we're playing the Anthem through the LR Baggs voice print DI system. So I'll play a little bit more. If you're interested, give us a shout at Starr's Guitars. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Also subscribe down there on that little subscribe button. And I'll play a little more from the song. Thanks. See you next time.